going to be live streaming from YouTube. So just a reminder, if you don't want your voice or your face on a public YouTube channel, just keep your mics muted and cameras off. But you can ask us questions in the Zoom chat. Ooh, 11 a.m. in Jamaica. Thanks for coming. Happy to have you here. All right, so I'm going to get started with the presentation, and then right after that, we'll have our lovely presenter share a bit of her knowledge. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, okay. So a little bit about me and about Entry Level. I am the growth marketer at Entry Level. I'm Jennifer, as you can tell from my Zoom background. And Entry Level just helps you learn and get experience so that you can get hired. And these are some of the courses we have, including UX design. But you'll learn more about UX design today. Some rules before we start: please be respectful and don't spam the chat with irrelevant information. So just keep things on topic to UX design, and you can ask questions, and just keep your mics muted so we can hear the speaker. I also want to know what level you are at right now, so we can better tailor the questions to you. So put 1 in the chat if you're a complete beginner, 2 if you've taken a few courses, 3 if you already had an internship, and 4 if you're currently working in tech or working as a UX designer. So just put one of the numbers in the chat. Okay, most people are complete beginners. That's perfect. You're in the right place, because this workshop is for beginners. We have somebody who's taken a few courses. That's great. Okay, perfect. So Jennifer, maybe keep this in mind. This for like people who are complete beginners, but that is the title of the workshop, so everyone here is in the right place. Again, a little bit about us. Our whole mission is to reskill 1 billion people by 2030. And by being here, you're helping us with the mission, because we just want to help you find careers that you love. And again, here are some of our courses that are available. I'm going to assume most of you are interested in the UX designer one. That one's actually a good course. I'm very proud of my portfolio from that one. Okay, and then this is what you get if you enroll in one of our courses. You get a certificate complete with skill badges, which you can brag about in interviews, because these badges just show what skills you've learned throughout the program with Entry Level. And then a portfolio project. And you also get feedback from our community on Discord. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce our lovely speaker, Jennifer. Jennifer, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jennifer. My namesake. All right. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Oh my God, it's nice to see that there are a lot of people on this call that are from different countries, basically in Africa, because I've seen a lot of African countries here. So welcome, everybody. I'm really glad to have everyone here. My name is Jennifer Uzo Amaka Daniel. Although I love being called Uzo Amaka, not everyone can pronounce that. So I'm just going to stick with Jennifer, right? So I am a product designer. I currently work at InterSwitch Group. So InterSwitch is a fintech company in Nigeria. They were the first pioneers of fintech, and I'm currently working on a B2B, B2C products in the company called QuickTeller, right? I also founded the UX Resource Hub. So I'm just going to put that in the chat. So UX Resource Hub is basically a website where UX designers, if you're an aspiring designer or like a seasoned designer, right, you can get access to the website for free. It's completely free. So I designed this myself and I built it myself just to give back to the community, and you can get access to resources, right? So I definitely need to even add entry level into my website, because I mean, honestly, so you can like any single thing you want, be community, books, UI, UX, learning UI, you can get access to that for free, right? I'm really glad I'm doing this today. And I this year, last year, I found that I really love teaching. I really love to mentor people. So I've been doing a bit of that for a while. And, it's been awesome. It's been great. Imagine having a lot of people that from different places in Africa join this call. So, I mean, it's building the tech ecosystem in different different countries in Africa, and that's really beautiful for me right now. So yeah, thank you very much, Jennifer. I think that's all from me, introduction. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, this is amazing because one of the questions that I had prepared was, are there any resources that beginners should know about? And it sounds like UX Resource Hub is the #1 collection of where you get all these resources. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So my first question for you, and keep in mind, everyone, you can put in your questions in the chat and I'll ask it out loud for our lovely speaker. But I have some questions prepared already. So the first one is, just so we're all on the same page, what exactly is UX design? And if you could give examples about the day-to-day tasks that a beginner, like entry-level UX designer, can expect to take on, that would be great.
All right. Okay, so UX design specifically, a lot of people say, I want to be a UI designer. I don't want to be a UX designer. I hear that a lot. And to be honest, you can't take out the UX aspect of the UI, if I'm being honest. And I'm just going to break this down, right? So I want to walk into a building, for example. I see a door, right? Imagine if the door doesn't have a knob, right? The door is the UI, the interface, right? That allows me passage to where I want to go to. But imagine if I don't have a knob to open that door, right? It's going to give me, I'm going to find it difficult to be able to pass through, right? So what people do is they create a knob for you, and there are knobs that tell you this is for pulling and this for pushing automatically, mentally in your head, right? So that particular knob that is created in that door is like the experience for that door, right? So UX basically is the experience that users, get, an encounter with when they're using any digital products, right? For me to be able to speak with Jennifer on this call is a very beautiful experience for me, right? It's solving a particular problem for me, right? For me to be able to share my video, for me to be able to see the charts, for them to give room for me to have, because I cannot really, get questions from like thousands of people in this call right now, but there's a specific place where I can, put in chats and I can see other people share their opinions, ask questions. So that's the experience for this product. So UX basically is the experience that users get when, interacting with a particular product. And you get that a lot, right? So, what usually working as a UX designer, there's a lot of brainstorming and design thinking that has to go into your day-to-day activity, right? You're not just gonna get a BRD. A BRD is called a business requirement document. So it's a documentation that the business gives you that, okay, this is the goal, this is the products we want to build, this is the problem we want to solve, this is our, entry point, this is what we want you to do for us. So I want you to be able to create, I want to be able to create digital solutions for this product or these problems that we are having, right? And so what you want to do is just sit down. What UX designers do, go to your drawing board. If you're working in a team, you speak with stakeholders, speak with your team members, you brainstorm on different viable solutions for that particular product, right? And you build experience around that. And that's why most products, when a new product going into the market, right, you have products, you hear things that are called MVP. And MVP is called most viable product. So what they do is they just solve one problem and give you one experience. Just solve one experience for you or one problem for you. And at subsequent time, when users are adopting that particular product, as time goes by, they start bringing different versions or different, features into that product, right? So basically, it's like the experience that we have day to day using any products that you use on your phone, online, anywhere, digitally. That's what the UX is about, basically.
I noticed you talked a lot about the product, like the business requirement document. Can you clarify the difference between a product designer and a UX designer?
All right. So a lot of people would battle with that a lot, right? So I call myself a product designer because for UI UX, right? The truth is, in Nigeria, where I am, and a lot of people would attest to that, right? There's really no difference where I am, but to be honest, there's actually a difference, right? Because so what product designers do is they go from the beginning point of the product, understanding the problem, speaking with stakeholders. So the middle part where you have to, start building wireframes, digital products, start speaking, start doing usability testing and all the rest, right? Till the end, post-production, when that product has gone live, right? When you get feedbacks from these from users that are using your products, they start looking for how can I fix this? How can I see what are the gaps that are left in these products that we have created? How can we create it better? That's what a product designer do, right? A product designer doesn't just stop at the end point alone when they do the usability test and when the product has gone to the market or has launched, right? But for UI UX designers may just focus on the experience and maybe the usability testing. They may not really go outside of post-production of that particular product. But we product designers, what we do is even when it comes to product marketing, from emails, how it's supposed, we are always at the forefront. We have to always be sure that this product has to gain a lot of traction. That's our own focus, right? So yeah, I think that's like the difference from my part. But I also mentioned again that in Nigeria, where I am, I don't know about other African countries, there's really no distinction between them. There's not so much distinction between them. Most UI UX designers actually do a lot of, post-product, design work or brainstorming of design thinking as well. Yeah.
Okay, so to summarize, the product design side is beginning to end, and even after the product has launched, and the UX design mainly focuses on the experience, and even usability testing. But after that, they kind of stop. Okay, so we have a lot of questions from the beginners here, wondering how to even get started. So do you have a roadmap that you would recommend for these beginners?
All right. So the first thing is I would tell people that you have to I want people to know that I'm coming into the UX space not because I'm hearing that, oh, there's a lot of money in tech, and I want to be able to fund. It's beautiful because obviously I'm working because of money. I won't lie, right? But at the same time, you need to know that this is what I want to do, right? Because there'll be times where you might get a lot of creative blockers. There'll be times where you might struggle a bit, but because of that's what you want to do, that's what you love to do, like design is your forte, that's what will push you, right? So I would definitely say that you should not overwhelm yourself. When I was starting as a UX designer, I made a lot of mistakes, and I won't even lie about that. I made mistakes thinking that I would probably learn all the softwares and that's what's going to give me a job, or I'll probably learn all yeah, I'll probably take all the courses in this world, and that's where I'm gonna be the best designer. Like, just take it easy, right? What I advise UX designers to do is take courses, start from somewhere. There's a course on entry level where you can learn as a beginner, right? Take those courses. Just start from there and just be focused. Give yourself, don't overwhelm yourself. I see a lot of people saying, oh, I want to take like 5 days to study, like just take it easy, one step at a time. You give yourself 2 days to learn. I mean, as long as you're learning, I tell people that as long as you're learning, even if you are lazy and you're learning 1 hour every week, right, it is a step. Do you understand? So those courses that you take, for example, I want to start in UX design. I go to entry level. I take their course and I'm learning. I give myself what I do. What I did was I created sticky notes on my wall. right? And I had my rest days. So I had to learn for 3 days, and on the other days are my rest days, So I always mark the days that I've learned, and I know that, oh, this is what I've learned, and how I can I apply this to, how can I, test myself with what I've learned so far, right? So take those courses, and I also tell them to join communities. That's why UX Resource Hub is there. Find communities that you can join. No man is an island, right? Find people that you can build projects around, because at the end of the day, it's better for you. Yes, the fact I explained that design thinking is very important, brainstorming is very important, but those things are very, very important and mandatory when you come into a working system. But what happens when, before you get a job, right? People are more visually inclined, right? So how they want to see your UI, they want to see they want to see, oh, this is a case study. Oh my God, this person built a very wonderful UI on Behance or whatnot, right? So get engaged with people that you can build like projects with, right? And with that, your memory or you start learning and you start understanding one bit or the other, right? And you can also get a mentor. There are a lot of mentorship platforms that you can get access to. I think mentors help a lot. They help you with your resume, they help you with your portfolio. You can get access to like mentors, right? So the first step is start learning on your own. Start learning, take these courses, pay for these courses. Trust me, there's no greater investment than investing in yourself. That money that you think you want to get, when you invest in yourself, right? When you start making that money, you'll be glad you actually invested in yourself. So take those courses, prioritize your time and learn, right? The next thing, get a mentor, the next thing, join a community and build your portfolio, right? So yeah, I think that's basically, as a beginner, right? As a beginner.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I'm gonna try my best to summarize. But first of all, let me just drop a resource in the chat. So this is a free, okay, the link didn't really work, but this is a free mentorship platform that you can use to get feedback on your work. But to summarize what everything Jennifer just said, first, you need to know that UX is right for you. I think a way to test that out is by taking a course, because then you haven't fully committed. You can try out some of the projects and see if you like it. And then be focused and take it easy so you don't burn out. Don't try to do too many things at once. Join communities. Working with people and learning from them can help you with your growth, and get a mentor, invest in yourself, and take courses. So Jennifer, I'm curious, did you learn through like YouTube videos, or did you also take a course?
Okay, so I learned with Coursera at that time. I had a few courses on Coursera. I was one to learn with Google UX design. So I learned the first course, and I think I took another course on Coursera. That's what I did. So what I did on YouTube was getting, brushed up with UI, because UI is more visual, right? So I needed to learn a lot of things that happen on Figma, and I started doing a lot of practice. So that's what I did for myself.
Okay, that's amazing. And then you landed a job just through the course and self-learning on YouTube?
Yes, I did. Like it was even shocking for me. I got my first internship like I think 1 week after I finished learning. Yeah, like I did. And after my first internship, right, I got a job because I posted something on LinkedIn. I got a job that paid me more than times 3, or more than, I think, time that what I was earning like before I came into tech. That's what happened. Like I just posted something online and I was scared to post that thing, right? So I just posted, I worked on a particular UI and it was like a case study basically. And I posted it, and the next thing, like, oh, please, we want to bring you in to lead this product for our company. And yeah, and that was it. And that's it, honestly.
Wait, so you just posted something and then your existing network kind of brought you into this job?
Exactly. So I posted it and people saw it on LinkedIn. A lot of people, it got a lot of likes. And the next thing, I got like the head of that particular department send me a message on LinkedIn and, just create like a interview meeting for me to, join in. And that was it.
Yeah, I think that touches on something else that's good advice, which is like be active, share your learning, use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And even if you're learning on YouTube, like I tried learning on YouTube and even Coursera before, but it was just it took me years, and I only, like, once there was a actual course, did it actually help. But I never was active on LinkedIn. So I hear LinkedIn helps a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Um, I do want to share my screen. So I'll share my UX design portfolio that I'm super proud of.
Yeah.
Because this was the portfolio I made after 6 weeks with entry level. Um, can everyone see that screen?
I can see your
Yes.
screen.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this is what I made. And to be honest, this is like I was kind of a beginner, and I just took a template, and these screens, it's mainly UI, but I got a lot of experience with UX as well. And this was something that I never made after years of watching YouTube videos. I didn't take the Coursera Google UX design course. It's probably great if you landed a job after, like 1 week after taking it. But for me, I needed like a hands-on project. And this was like the first time I did affinity mapping or any of this stuff. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this in 6 weeks. It was so fast.
Wow.
So to me, like you said, it was worth the investment. It was worth paying for. But for some people who can't afford, or like who aren't willing to invest, and I think YouTube works, but then you have to spend all this time trying to figure out the best YouTube video to watch. So it's up to you whether you prioritize price versus time. Um, so I just wanted to share that because I'm very proud of my portfolio.
I'm actually very proud of you. And I think one thing I would like to add is you mentioned something, right? Yeah, whether you want to spend the money or you want to learn on YouTube. The reason why I prefer, I'll tell people to, I love self-directed learning. Don't get me wrong. Self-directed learning is very beautiful because you know how to maintain your time. But one thing, companies like entry level and the rest do is that they monitor your growth. And I think that's very important that a lot of beginners at this time, because there's a lot of entry level. When I started, it wasn't as, not like we need more people, right, in the tech space, but it wasn't as, a lot as that time when I started, right? But right now, you need someone that will monitor your growth, right? You need people that will give you hands-on projects. You need someone that would go back to, yeah, we get that ADP list, give you access to mentors, but I can come to Jennifer because I'm a beginner and tell her, oh, I'm struggling with this. I don't know what the best approach is and how can I do this better, right? You have someone that you can speak with directly. And I think that's why I would have advised that people, use, platforms that give you courses that you can get even certifications from, right? Yeah. I mean, when you spend your money, you want to learn.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. You just reminded me, like when you go to mentorship as a beginner and you haven't taken any courses, I feel like you don't ask as good questions. Like it's very general, or like sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. But after you take a course, after you start getting more involved, then you're like, oh, there's this thing I'm curious about. What does this UX term mean? Like, how do I do this better? And then the questions are so much better, and then you just learn faster once you
Yeah,
have a good foundation.
exactly.
So yeah, I have another question for you. So what are some of the skills that you recommend people to learn first? Like, for example, do you need to learn how to code?
Yeah, okay. So I think I mentioned that in the beginning that you shouldn't overwhelm yourself. I've been working in the UX space for more than 3 years and I haven't written one line of code. And yeah, and I'm still living comfortably in the country, right? So I don't think so. What I advise UX designers to do is don't learn a particular technology or a particular trend just because you think that's where the focus is. You can learn that because you want to apply it to your design work or you want to apply it to UX design, right? For example, you're learning blockchain or you're learning AI, not because you want to just delve into the industry completely, but because you want to know how to apply blockchain in product design, or you want to know how to apply AI in UX design, whatever it is, right? And so there's no need to overwhelm yourself trying to learn this software. I tell people that you have to focus on what's more important. The truth is, working as a designer, what is most important? Your UI is very important, just believe. But if you're working in a company where you might be working as a specialist, you are going to be doing a lot of design thinking. Trust me, you don't want to sit in the midst of stakeholders and your team members and they pull up a question or they want everybody to add input on your brain. There's a brainstorming session and you can't say anything, right? So you take design thinking courses. There's a course you can take on design thinking, take those courses, know how to brainstorm, know how to communicate. I feel like if you go into that, if you're working in a company, right, then you will know what sort of tools you're using. I don't even recommend you taking a job where they force you to code when that is not like your line of work, right? Except if you know how to code and maybe from the onset they have said, oh, you know what, we need someone that can code, come into this place because you're going to also be a UX engineer. But the job description says UI UX, not UX engineer, right? So I don't think you need to necessarily know how to code or you need to overwhelm yourself with softwares. Understand softwares that are most important. Yeah, you can learn Photoshop if you want to learn Photoshop. I think it's a plus, but it's not really mandatory. You can learn Illustrator just because you want your UI to be awesome, not because they're gonna give you like it's gonna be the 100% experience that you want users to experience, because even aesthetics is also functional. So you have to focus more on functionality instead of so much aesthetics, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. So again, going back to needing to focus, don't try to do too much, take it one at a time, and then you always need to apply what you learn. And I have to share my screen again because I know I work here, but I love entry level and I loved it as a student. So that's exactly what we force people to do. This was when I took the UX designer course. Like you can see my certificate, and they even gave me a reference letter, which is really nice. Like they showed that I had these skills that I learned. But if you go through the course content, it like forces you to apply it to a project.
Yeah.
So you, instead of learning just to learn, you have to like learn to actually do this work. So like, oh, you talk to the users, now you have to make this. And it's like you're not just reading about what personas are, you actually have to make it yourself, which is like just so much better. And then there's like examples. I was like, oh my God, this is the easiest thing ever. Because at the end, you need to build that portfolio that I showed you. And the portfolio is so intimidating. I was procrastinating it for like 3 years. But then throughout the course, it's like you already did all the steps. The portfolio is just putting it together into slides. So I was like, this is so good. I wish more people knew about entry level.
Yeah, I mean I've seen a lot of I was looking at the courses and I'm like, okay, wow, this is actually a very good breakdown. And yeah, I think I'm looking at how to talk to your users, ideas, and that's really good. That's really good, honestly.
Wow, thank you. Because I feel like when you're learning online, I used to learn just from random UX Planet articles, YouTube videos, and it's like I just have all this random knowledge, but with entry level, it just like consolidated and then I applied it into a project like from beginning to end. So instead of like if I was getting interviews, instead of being like, oh, I read this article once and this is like what I learned, it's like, oh, I did this project. And then they start asking about the project and it's just so much more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so my next question for you, you touched on this a little bit before, but what are the common mistakes to avoid as a beginner trying to learn UX design?
I think I mentioned one of it, but trying to overwhelm yourself, learning all the softwares. I think I've explained this a bit. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's not that deep, right? And number two is trying to compare yourself with every other person online. Trust me, nobody has it easy. Like I myself, even as a designer, I struggle a bit, right? So a lot of people would see someone post your work and we be like, I don't want to post my work. Me posting my work gave me a very good job, right? So I think that's how I tell designers that even a product that you're building, right, it is never perfect. And that's why they always tell you to update your app or update that particular product, right? So you always have, there's always going to be an update for your design. Just post your works, get review. Feedbacks are the best thing that you want to get ever, right? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to anybody, right? Don't be an island. Don't say, oh my God, I don't want to learn this. And because I don't like to be in a group. Oh my God, darling, you have to find communities you can join. There are a lot of like networking events that happen. Don't restrict yourself to speaking to someone or attending this event, right? Just believe in yourself basically. And do not say that this job doesn't sit well with me or this job is not right for me, so I don't think I want to apply to this job. It's better to apply than to not even do anything. I'm going to give a story, like a random story of myself. So there was a very big thing I wanted to I think I wanted to get basically, and I doubted myself a lot. I was like, you know what, I cannot get this because people that get these things are like founders, right? So why would I think I would get it? But I felt, you know what, I'm just gonna apply just for applying sake. And guess what? I was picked among a lot of people. Imagine if I hadn't applied for that thing. Imagine if I had spoken, brought myself down at that point in time. So you never know. You never know. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know the kind of network that's going to help you. So don't limit yourself, right? So just do it. And don't overwhelm yourself. You're just a beginner. You're not supposed to be a senior, right? I tell people before you climb a ladder, start from the ground up, right? Don't start moving so high. You can't fly. You're just going to be where you are at that point in time. So just appreciate that particular moment where you are and keep going gradually. Yeah.
I think something that's very valuable to remember is that the reason why companies hire beginners is because beginners have a different mindset than seniors do. So I feel like some beginners here in this audience, they'll see things a little bit differently, especially if you don't come from a tech or design background. You have a different perspective, and that's like a fresh new perspective that people find valuable. So, and then speaking of community, I feel like I'm promoting entry level so much, but it's just so, I wish more people knew about how great it is. So entry level does have a community. So let me share my screen once again, because community, like you said, it's so important. You can learn a lot faster. We actually have students who, okay, like here, we post our events, we post job postings here. We have a student who actually landed their job through this community because somebody had posted a position, and then they just applied and DM'd with that person and landed their first internship, like right after the entry level course. And of course you can network, and then there's like a memes channel, all of this. And then if you're taking, for example, the UX design course, you can ask a lot of questions here. It's very active. We have people who can help you. And if you're stuck on specific modules, like, you just ask the question and people help out. So there's all these resources available for you that you can take advantage of. And I'll put the community link in the chat because anyone can join. So if you want to start networking with other UX designers, you can go there. But yeah, thanks so much for telling your story, Jennifer. I think it's important to not reject yourself before other people have the chance to.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it only takes one yes to change your life.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, a lot of people apply for jobs, 100 jobs, and get one great one, right? So I think she dropped the community link. I would advise you, please, if you can, join the community. You're going to get a lot of help. You're going to meet a lot of people. I met a lot of amazing people that I know now from a community I joined at one point in time. So yeah, please do join.
Yeah. And I think it's not just joining, it's like being active, because it's really about how much effort you put in. Like it's the same for everything. Like obviously if you are just watching YouTube videos and like lying in bed not doing anything, it feels like you're not going to get as much out of it as if you're like actually sitting down studying, applying what you learn to projects like with an entry level course. So feel free to like put some memes in the meme channel there.
Someone just said I have joined, so I think a lot of people are joining already.
Yay, that's awesome. I will see you in the community then. But in the meantime, let's move on to the next question. How can you stand out? Because we're talking about applying to all these different opportunities, but is there a way to stand out so that you're more likely to get hired?
Okay, so basically, I would say that it's one thing to apply for jobs, post yourself on LinkedIn, and it's another thing to actually reach out, make the effort, like you said, right? A lot of effort needs to go in from your own parts, right? I go on LinkedIn, I see a job. So one thing LinkedIn does is, I think I posted one time, there's a Chrome extension called Apollo. I don't know how that thing does it, but it's called apollo.io. It's a Chrome extension that gives you access to emails of someone in different companies where you can actually reach out to them. LinkedIn blocks you for LinkedIn, like you have to have like LinkedIn Premium. But with apollo.io, it gives you access without having the LinkedIn Premium, which is amazing. I don't know how they did that, but I'm just gonna put that in the chat. I'm gonna put that in the chat. And so what you can do is you can reach out to these people, because during the time when you're applying for jobs, underneath you probably see the person that actually posted these jobs, right? And so you can reach out, send them a code email, just tell them that, oh, you applied for this job and this is what you're good at and this is what you're bringing to the company. And they can set up a call with you for you to be able to explain your experience more to them. Just make the effort. You can't necessarily like stand out by always just posting your work and that's it. Yes, definitely a lot of people reach out to you. Well, there's a high chance for that, but you would stand out if you actually make the effort to reach out. And another thing I tell people is, even if you're applying for a job, because you're applying for 100 jobs, doesn't mean you shouldn't, tailor your jobs to that particular application, right? And just apply to use that same cover letter to apply to every. A lot of people struggle a lot with cover letters, but to be honest, right, why companies tell you to put the cover letter is because they actually want to see where you are, where your brain is from, where your mind thinks, how your mind thinks. They want to understand you as a person without just just looking through your resume. Not everybody can look through your resume, right? And so if you're tailoring a job for it, they post, oh, I need a UI UX designer, and you're sending a job for, like, you're just writing product designer at the end because, oh, that's your product design resume. Even if it's the same name, it's not tailored to the particular company, it looks like you're sending the same application to 100 companies. There's no specifications, right? It doesn't make the company exactly feel special. And something I like to do sometimes is, in my cover letter, when I make research on the company, sometimes I can suggest ways I can improve the whatever products I see. Or for example, I think if I come into this place, I think this product A is having, I think a lot of users would like it if this call to action, whatever, or this thing is actually more visible for users to be able to see, because it's probably hidden, and I know that this is what the company wants to achieve the more, and it's gonna reach the company. Maybe the product or the service needs more clicks. You can just suggest something to them so they know, oh wow, this person have actually done research, this person have actually made effort, and this person is actually recommending something that a solution for us for our product, right? So just make an effort, really, because you cannot tell me that I want to pay you 60 million or 10, 20 million or 30 million annually, and you can't make that effort for me, right? Yeah. So that's how you stand out as a beginner.
That's so true, because not a lot of people put in that effort. I remember
Yeah.
one time somebody posted a job posting, and then I was like, oh, they want this. Let me, spend like just 20 minutes making a minimum version of this. And then I DM'd them. I'm like, oh, what do you think about this? Like, I also got these results for this other project that I did. And then they accepted my LinkedIn invite and was like, oh, wow, out of all the applicants, nobody has done this. You are the only one. And we got on a call right away. And that's like, I shortcut the application process and just got into the interview.
Yeah.
So
I think another thing I would like to mention, I think there's a particular job I didn't go for just because I don't think it aligned with me. But the reason why they picked me to the end right, was because I created something for the company called a portfolio deck, right? You can Google a portfolio deck on YouTube. I think I've forgotten the name of this lady. She has a video of how you can create a portfolio deck, right? And so portfolio decks are what it's like a portfolio, but it's just limited, or it's narrowed for that particular company itself, right? And so when you're having this interview, when you're having the talk, you can just open your portfolio deck for that particular company. So yeah, so you can just look at, try and look for videos on how to create a portfolio deck.
Is that similar to that PowerPoint that I shared of my portfolio?
I think that's a portfolio, right? But a portfolio deck is not different from what you showed, right? So I think in the beginning stage, you're just telling them your UX processes and what you can bring to the table, and then what you showed, right? So that's like a portfolio deck is like a presentation deck, just like an investor. When you want an investor to buy into your business, right? You have like a presentation deck for that particular for your own presentation, right? So that's like what a portfolio deck. So you want hiring managers to buy into your skills, right? So yeah, that's it basically.
Okay, so I feel like you're thinking like a startup founder here, but like the startup founder of your job search and career, because you were talking about making a plan for your career. That's like product roadmap basically, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, portfolio deck.
What about Ghana and UK? I think you're
Oh,
asking a
okay.
question.
Okay, so Ghana, you have to like all the pricing and everything is on our website. So if you go to our website, it's there. But I will share a discount code at the end of the call. One more thing that I wanted to share because I think it's so cool, is let me share this AI chatbot. I know like AI is like everybody talks about it, but this AI is like trained on our course content. So I needed help with my data analysis course. So I was like, asking all these questions, and it responded immediately. So if I'm like, what is the difference between UX design and product designer? And this is like trained on our course content. So if you're taking a course and you're stuck, you can ask the Discord, or you can just ask this AI chatbot, which is like everybody loves it. Every feedback we receive, everyone's like, oh my God, I love AJ AI. And actually AJ is our CEO. And when our developers made it, they made this name as a joke, but now everybody just knows it as this. So it even quizzes you because like that's how you learn better.
It's really good. Really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I just love entry level. I'm like the biggest fan. Okay, so I just have a few more questions for you to wrap up. So speaking of portfolio, like what does a good UI UX portfolio look like? Do you have any tips for beginners when making portfolios?
Yeah, okay, so a lot of people struggle with the case study thing. How many case studies should I put? Should I have a lot of UI, So I do basically just tell beginners to don't really put so much pressure trying to build your own website. You can have your website, is a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. If you can get your website, you can get your website. But if you think that, oh, getting a website is mandatory or what's going to put you at the edge, not really, right? You can build on Behance, you can build on Figma portfolio. Just the only issue with Figma portfolio is that it might load a little bit slower for like hiring managers that want to, look at your portfolio. But you can build on Dribble, you can build on Behance, right? And you can have your own personal website. You can even build on no-code tools like Webflow and Framer if you can use those tools, right? Because they're not really difficult to use, right? And so what I tell beginners to do is make it as simple as possible. You don't need to do so much, right? Let your work be the focus. If you can separate your UIs from your case study if you can, right? You can have 2-3 case stories, but make sure you have case studies that show all the design processes, right? Even though working as a designer, obviously the design processes is not linear. Like you can use different design processes, but still the same, but you can use different approaches while solving a problem. But for your case study, right, people want to see how you think. They want to see what goes into the mind of Jennifer, right? They want to say, oh, Jennifer knows the empathy, knows how to empathize, she knows how to ideate, she knows how to do the usability testing, she knows how to do the wireframing, she knows what she's doing. And your case study is probably like telling stories, you're not using heavy words, you're making it simple and it's visual, right? So you can also, what I also tell designers to do is, highlight points that the eyes, like I said, very visual. So highlight points that you can see. Where you know that you're making a very valid point in your portfolio or in your case study, highlight it for them to see. Put links that are very important for them to go to. Don't make hiring managers make too much tabs, going into new tabs or going into different links. If you can make the experience happen on that particular portfolio, right? Instead of having them to go, come back, right? You can also use Notion if you can use Notion. You can use different tools, but make sure that this portfolio is easily digestible and is understandable, right? And also you can do a lot of UI designs because people, as a beginner, right, they want to see your UI designs as well. They want to see your case studies, but they want to see how can you design. Like, trust me, they want to, oh my God, this person, you know what, she can do this, she can do that. I love the way she blends this, work on your micro interaction and whatnot. So those things are very important, but don't really overwhelm yourself with a lot of things. You're just a beginner, right? So yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Another thing, what you're saying is basically like treating the hiring manager as the user. You need to empathize with them of what are they looking for. And I think a thing that people do on the website headings, it's like, the research phase and like brainstorming, whatever, instead of titles and like wasting words and space like that, describe what happened and summarize, be like, found this during the research. So because people are just scanning. So
yeah,
that space.
Exactly. Very, very, I think that's a very, very big point. And I don't even think I mentioned that. That's a very big point, right? Make it as simple as possible and just put out pointers that they can read. Not everybody can, like I said, don't overwhelm, like you said, the hiring managers are also like your users, so don't overwhelm them. So just go straight to the point and highlight points that are very important for the eyes to see. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So simplify and to the point. Okay, so one more question is what we have time for, which is like job search and interview tips. Do you have any like last pieces of advice for the job search specifically?
So I think there's something that people do on LinkedIn. You can go to the search and just search for founders hiring, right? So that's founders hiring, right? Or you would say, I'm hiring for a product designer, right? Just search for that. And you'll see a lot of founders that made posts that tell you they are hiring at that point in time. You understand? So like I said, you can join communities like the entry-level community like you posted now. I think they post a lot of jobs there as well. Trust me, it's not gonna be easy. It's not, if you want to apply, if you want to get a job, like it's not gonna be easy. Don't think that you are not good enough because you're not getting callbacks. You can be the best person in this room right now and still, I don't know why that happens, but you can be the best person in this room right now and still not get a callback from a particular company. But trust me, so one thing some people do is they send a message back to the company and tell them, oh, okay, thanks for this, but I would like to know the feedback, what happened, what I did wrong. Is there any feedback you can give? And if you get feedback, you know how to improve, right? So platforms like ADP List give you access to mentors that can scrutinize your portfolio for you. They can scrutinize your resume for you, right? So these mentors actually help you, tell you what is wrong with your portfolio or what is wrong you can improve on for a better job search. Like I also mentioned, make sure you reach out. Don't just stop at applying for jobs alone. Make sure you reach out, right? And make your portfolio as digestible as possible, right? So yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so to summarize all that amazing advice, first go to LinkedIn, search for founders hiring. You need to be able to do cold outreach. I'll see if I can include a template in the email I send out after this event. and because you need to start reaching out. But then when you reach out and they're looking at your portfolio, make it as digestible as possible, easy to read, easy to scan. And mentors can give you feedback on your portfolio for free, join a community. But one thing about reaching out is, I think even if you get rejected or if you don't get that opportunity, you can always ask for feedback and then use it to improve for the next one.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. And I did promise a coupon code at the end of this event, so I'm just going to put it here. Use Gen UX 10 for 10% off an entry-level course. And let me link our website. You just have to click sign up and then select a course, maybe the UX one, and then just put that code at checkout, and you should get 10% off. Awesome. That's all for today. Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing your advice. I don't know if you probably didn't see on YouTube, but everybody was like, oh my God, the content here is amazing. I'm not sure why it's not trending. Like, this is amazing. Like, so much amazing knowledge is being shared. So I really appreciate your time here today. And yeah, thank you so
really
much.
appreciate everyone. I wish I could see, but love you guys. Hopefully I see everybody at the top. We are gonna make it wag me. I'm gonna put the wag me sign here. That's my sign.
Yeah, I love that attitude because there's enough space for everybody to succeed.
Yeah.
It's not really like competition. We can all do it together. The importance of community. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be sending out an email with all the resources right after this event. So